What's cracking, Hot House family? It's your baby mama's favorite cousin, Cousin T-Taw. And today we are going to unpack what it means to embody the champion. Now, this particular idea came from a greater conversation that was had during a barbershop that the Fieldmaster Ron Wills hosted a little while ago. And we were discussing, what happens when a woman who is part of the 100 octane class, shout out to the Master Teacher BGS at more, but basically a woman who is, part of the sugar baby elites, part of the, actress, baller type of women. Once she transitions out of that space, or even just, women who are desired by a good number of men. What is the type of men that they seek, outside of the baller class of men? And basically what I stated in that scenario was that desirable women crave the champion, and the champion can be a local champion. So what is that? What does that mean? So I'm going to give you about 4 examples of what the local champion, or what it means for a man to embody the spirit of the champion is. Keep in mind that this is all relative. Okay, I know I speak to guys all over the world, and there are variations of this third sort of champion that makes sense within your own society. And this third one is one that I speak of in my book, The Seduction Scriptures, as the type of man who speaks the language of emotion, who speaks the language of social intelligence. And that is the politician, the preacher, and the player, which is the lover man. Now, some people can swap out pimp for player, but for the sake of this conversation, I'm going to use that word player. Now, obviously, the politician knows the importance of resource management, and he understands that the most valuable resource that there is the human resource. And so he understands how to put the right people in the right spaces, all the way from the dog catcher, right? That analogy, to the head of the water department for your town. He doesn't necessarily have to be the mayor. He doesn't necessarily have to be a county board member. This politician, or this political figure, understands how to communicate an idea in order to solve a problem or service a need. That's the first sort of degree of this third example. The second one is the preacher. This is the man who embodies the healer dynamic. The Fieldmaster Ron Wills, often speaks of the house of the man, and the healer is one of these archetypes. And the preacher is the man who is called upon to carry out various aspects of the cultural experience from the cradle to the grave. He knows what to say at a wedding. He knows what to present in the case of a loss of life. He knows how to articulate the beauty and the sublime nature of a childbirth. And so this man has the ability to speak to the subconscious of the collective. And of course, we have the third sort of dynamic within this example, and that is the player, or the lover man. This man embodies the aesthetic of the champion, and in that his words match his actions match his intent, and that all collaborates within how he makes a woman feel in his presence. His presence is not only felt when he's around a particular woman or a particular group of women. His presence is felt even outside of interacting with those women. That's how a player gets a quote unquote reputation. That's how his reputation precedes his own presence. And gentlemen, those are the three sort of dynamics within this third example of how a man can embody the spirit or the aesthetic of the champion. The fourth that I want to exemplify in this conversation is that of the master craftsman. And this speaks to the common man. You know, and I'll do another presentation on this. In this internet age where we're trying to look for the best of the best of the best of society, we look at royalty, we look at presidents, we look at the heads of state, the captains of industry. But we really need to understand why those people are in the positions that they're in the first place. It's all to support a structure that allows the common man to be who he is. Okay? Now I know that's a lot to take in, and like I said, that deserves its own conversation, but this fourth example of the champion is the master craftsman. He is that protector, provider, the fireman or the law enforcement official or the soldier, right? He is that artist. He is that builder, right? The carpenter, the plumber, the architect, the electrician. He is that thinker, the idea man, the planner, the writer, the creative. He is that man who has an inspiration, an internal inspiration, be it something that's passed down through his bloodline, a shoemaker, a pottery master, a woodsman, a metallurgist, someone who shapes and forms the terra in a way that supports human life. These are all examples of master craftsmen. This, gentlemen, is the full circle of the champion. Now, the difference between the champion and the man who has the unrecognized, untapped, unrealized potential is that when we talk about desirable women, just to bring it full circle, those other men are invisible to her. The men with just are sitting around with untapped potential. They don't show up on a desirable woman's radar because he has not taken the steps to cultivate within him his true potential. Because when a man has taken the first impactful steps on his journey of masculine mastery, it shows up in his attitude. It shows up in his excitement to move forward. It shows up in what he studies. It shows up in the type of company that he keeps, and the type of information that he consumes, and what he puts back out into the world. It shows in his confidence. We know that confidence is a key ingredient of desirability. But the most important aspect of this presentation that I want you to take away is that